And we're back with more GAWT. Now it's time for Grown Ass News. Each week, I'll get Erica's take on the week's entertainment news, current events, and news about grown ass women. And you know what it is time for, Erica? An
What?
election update.
Graphics. How much is this graphic costing me?
Oh my goodness. It's not a lot, okay? It's very important because there's a lot going on with the elections. First of all, VP Harris ramps up her attacks on Trump's fitness for office. And after seeing Trump dancing at this last rally, I could kind of understand why.
This is a move. This is a move.
VP Harris is calling Donald Trump incredibly unstable and unhinged. Kamala Harris showed a clip where he called distractors the enemy from within, and both candidates were in Pennsylvania just weeks away from the election this week. I mean, right now, all you're going to see is a bunch of battleground states, and everybody is in those battleground states. Even Tim Walz, they had him over there in a pumpkin patch talking to the rural people. I said, they got Boo Boo in a pumpkin patch. Like
He
pumpkins
loves
is
it
all
there.
around him,
But he looks very comfortable there, though.
He does. But let's talk about this whole thing with this last rally that Trump was at, and he was supposed to answer questions because it was a town hall. Then all of a
Right.
sudden he just goes, you know what, let's listen to some music. And so he starts playing his playlist, which is all these songs that I know are probably not even approved, and he's probably going to
No.
get a bunch of lawsuits.
Absolutely.
I mean, for like 30 minutes, he played this playlist and was just, what's going on?
Well, I heard that supposedly it was very hot inside the arena, and so people
Yes.
people were falling out and being carried out on stretchers. So instead of saying like, "Hey, I hope these people are okay," and making an announcement, he just like, "Hey, let's have a dance party." Like that's so him. He doesn't care about anybody but himself.
Well, he was also in Coachella, and at Coachella, he had the people come all the way out, and they had buses because you don't drive in. They had buses, but when they were leaving, there were no buses for the people. The people were like stranded to get back to their cars, and the reports are is that the Trump campaign hadn't paid the buses
Of course they hadn't. They don't
the
pay
full
for anything.
amount.
He still owes everybody. Like he still owes contractors for Mar-a-Lago. I
How
mean,
do you
come
do
on.
that to your supporters, though? I mean, they come out there to support you and see you. At least give them a ride back. I mean, you can.
How many times do you have to be effed over by Donald Trump and still support him? Do you know what I mean? It's
I
like
don't
it's
know.
like it's like a girl who's been going back to the same abusive boyfriend. That's what it is. It's a toxic relationship, and I don't know how to break the cycle at this point.
Both Trump and Harris both like a child tax credit, but with different aims. So, Kamala is pushing for a version of the credit intended to fight child poverty, while Trump sees the program primarily as a tax cut for people on the higher up income scale. So it's like this is why you listen to these rallies, because you want to see what is the difference between the candidates. What are they saying? And as we said last week, Kamala went on a long media blitz all week. She's continuing that, but she's also adding to it because she stepped up a major push for Black voters, especially Black men, because Black men have been complaining. They are very important demographic for her, because we're neck and neck. And basically, she released a plan to help Black men financially. She held interviews with two Black media outlets like Roland Martin and The Shade Room. And a lot of people was like, The Shade Room, for y'all that don't know what The Shade Room is, because we do have people that don't know.
It's like Black Twitter.
No, it's no, it's not. How dare you? Uh,
I
it's
mean,
it's a very popular blog site that a lot of people don't like, to be honest. But It's very gossipy. They make a lot of stories up. I've been on the Shade Room. You never see them really praising. It's more about criticizing or gossiping. And they've gotten a little bit better because they were getting criticized a lot. But they have so many people that tune in and get their news from them. So it was a strategy. They have like 29.2 million followers.
Here's my question to you, because I think this is something that I've seen, several, like CNN and MSNBC and Fox News, they've all kind of just like trying to deduce. What do you think will move the needle, right? That's kind of the conversation right now. Like, does going on the Shade Room or going on Howard Stern or going on, these media blitzes versus doing the town halls? Like, when people, like, are they appealing to their bases when they go to the town hall? Is that going to move the needle? Or is that already playing to their fans? Versus if Kamala's going on Fox News, which she's supposed to be doing this week as well, at least you'll have a chance to talk to people who are not going to be voting for her, and so or who aren't prone to be voting for her, and then she could possibly move the needle.
It's a strategy. In my opinion, they are holding her to a different standard than they're holding Donald Trump. They're not questioning him as hard. They're not. If Kamala did a rally where she starts just saying, forget the town hall and dance for 30 minutes to Cool in the Gang, it would be over.
Why you gotta be cool in the game?
My old ass come up with all that, the whispers. She started dance to the full top.
It's gotta be Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
I'll be enjoying that. Hey, but if she did that, they would, there would be people that telling her, let's stop, let's oust it. And so what you're seeing is this double standard. So I believe that her people are going, you know what? There is a double standard.
100%.
We got to deal with it. But at the end of the day, let's show why they need to vote for her. So she's hitting every nook and cranny that she talking to Charlemagne again.
Yeah, well, I love that. But I love Charlemagne. But I will say, I think to your point, listen, I mean, obviously as Black women, we always have to do the most, you know what I mean? Because we have to work 10 times as hard as anybody else. But I also think that everybody knows who Donald Trump is, right? I mean, we've seen him on The Apprentice. We know what a horrible president he was, but I mean, some people think he was a good president, so that's on them. But I think as a BP, Kamala has to stake her own claim on what her presidency would be, and that's kind of what she's trying to do. And in a way, it's very difficult because I think she is so loyal to Joe, as she should be. I mean, he's amazing, she's amazing, but she also has to distance herself from him because some people are not happy with his presidency and not happy with their finances right now. So I know when she was on The View, she had a little bit of a misstep because they asked her, what would you do differently than Joe is doing now? And she was like, I don't know. And that was an opportunity for her to go, to say something like, hey, Joe is an amazing president, but I'm a different person, and here's how I will build on what we've done together.
She can't do that because they will turn it around.
Yeah, maybe. It's 100% a difficult position to take, but I think that's what people are looking for. People who aren't already in her camp.
She's doing the best that she can. She's doing a lot of media. She even is on the cover of Vogue. Did you see that beautiful cover of her?
Should be. I mean, listen, I told you that she is just low key hot, and it was all the pantsuits that were covering up all the beauty. I mean, she's gorgeous. My mom loves her and just thinks that she's the epitome of what we want to see as women of color, in the White House, in politics, just a beacon of like what we stand for. And I'm so proud of her, regardless of what happens. I think she's ran an amazing campaign, and I will be, glued to the TV on election night.
We still got plenty of time because there's a lot of things that's happening.
What is it, like 21 days? It's not a lot of time. I mean, it's like
it is weeks. A lot of time for a mess up. I mean, when you have things like what Trump is doing, singing at different things, they're pushing for his medical records. Obama scolded Black men.
And what do you think about that? I mean, I know he's gotten a lot of backlash for holding Black men accountable, saying basically that if you're not going to vote for Kamala, it seems like you guys don't want to have a woman president. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, you can't tell grown folks what to do. Why you trying to
Right.
tell,
Especially
dude?
blown ass black men. You can't tell
You
them what
can't
to
tell
do.
these black men what to like. You got to make them think it's their idea. So that's what you got to do. The good thing about all of this, before we move on, is that President Jimmy Carter, he lived long enough to vote for Kamala because early voting started in Georgia. So that's one of the things that he was determined to do. And so with that, it's just a historic moment.
It is. It's so historic.
Moving on, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and former MTV VJ Ananda Lewis, she says that her cancer has spread after she decided to keep her tumor. This is just a sad story, and I'm telling this because I want women to go get checked. It was a roundtable discussion on cancer that she was on CNN, and she said that, quote, "My plan at first was to get out excessive toxins in my body. I felt like my body is intelligent. I know that to be true. Other bodies are brilliantly made," she explained. "I decided to keep my tumor and try to work it out of my body a different way," she shared. "Looking back on that, I go, you know what? Maybe I should have had the mastectomy." And she explained that she, pursued all these homemade remedies as well as medication, radiation, but she, didn't get like the proper mammograms because she felt like that was radiation. And it's a mess. So now she's at a stage 4. And I want to say something about mammograms. Yes, you are exposed to radiation, but the radiation is a small amount of radiation. It's like when you do a transatlantic flight, that's you get exposed to radiation. That's about the size of radiation that you get when you have a mammogram. And we keep doing things to explore uh, cures for cancer, but there are preventative measures, and having a mammogram prevents, if you catch it early, you really can have a longer life. So we just want to send our best to Ananda Lewis, and hopefully, she can pull through with this.
Yeah, I just want to add on to that. And I think that, because again, we talk about, early detection, but we also talk about healthcare within the Black community or just in communities of color. And I think, we're so um, disenfranchised from having good healthcare in general. And for two reasons, we obviously don't get it because we don't have insurance or whatever the things that give us access. But also there is a kind of skepticism and a fear of going to doctors that I think is a part of our community. And I will tell you, I mean, I have several girlfriends, especially at our age, who have had breast cancer, and luckily they've had access to good health care and they've all beat it. And so it is going and getting radiation and getting chemotherapy or whatever it is that you can cure it if you go and take care of it. But I do understand it's a cultural thing to be afraid of doctors because doctors haven't always serviced us well. And so I just would urge people to kind of push past the stigma of, dealing with doctors and not having to listen to you. There's all this distrust going back to Tuskegee, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of distrust for modern medicine and doctors. But I will tell you, the Huxtables have broken that cycle because my parents go to the doctor at least once a week. I'm like, where are you going to the doctor for now? They're like, oh, we got to have a test for that. Like they literally stay at the doctor because they want to make sure that they're healthy. And they are, and they're like, 70s and 80s. But, the cycle has to be broken where doctors are not the enemy.
Definitely, they're not. And, we still have a long ways to go when it comes to,
Yes.
especially breast cancer and cancer in
Yes.
general. You have celebrities that are announcing their breast cancer diagnosis. Jenna Fisher just did it, and
Yes.
Danielle Fishall did it.
I know who I worked
So,
with on Boy Meets World. I worked with her.
wow.
That's my first job as a writer on Boy Meets World. So I have known her for years.
So
Yeah.
definitely get them tatas checked, y'all. Okay. Very, very important.
It's one of the most curable forms of cancer, by the way. So if you catch it early enough, you can go on to live a full and healthy life.
Definitely. I want to move on to something that happened this week that was historic. Elon Musk did like a reveal, and he had robots that were like lifelike robots. It was down here in one of the studios that he had. The robots, you can ask it questions because, of AI. It would answer the questions for you, and it's like a huge deal. And he's selling these robots. He's saying that the robot, the way they want to make it is that it can clean up your house, it can make you a drink, it can watch your kids for you. And right now, if you order them, they're like $20,000 to $30,000. And with are you getting a robot?
I mean, listen, the robots are kind of hot. So I'm just saying,
we got to get you a date, okay? Because if you
listen,
these robots are hot.
The robots can get it. That's what I'm saying. I mean, maybe this is generation 3. I mean, like maybe this is the early version, but like 3.0, I'm thinking might be able to get it. I mean, listen, the way the world's going, especially the way men are, you have a boyfriend, James. You got your robot. Us single women, I'm just saying, I'm not opposed to it.
You sound like Slim Thug.
I am Slim Thug. That's what they call me.
No, you. I was reading about Slim Thug, right? He basically believes that men won't need women once the robots learn how to cook, clean, and have sex. He basically believes that the evolution of technology will gradually make women obsolete to men in modern society. And it comes off of this whole Elon Musk and Tesla's new Optimus robot. And so he's basically like, what we gonna need y'all for if you get the robots?
Well, first of all, Slim Thug, besides stealing my name, besides stealing my street name, men are already obsolete. I mean, we two can play that game. We don't need you to have a baby because we can have a surrogate. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, nobody's cleaning over here. So, like, if I could get a robot to come take out my trash and fix my car, put some oil in my car.
Nothing's like the real thing, baby. I don't care what y'all say. And you can always find somebody to clean your damn house. And where's he getting this? That's all women are for.
And that's what I'm saying. Nobody's cleaning over here. I'm not cleaning my own house anyway. So yeah, like what are you talking about? But I can get somebody to take my trash out. That's all I need. I mean, does James take the trash out? Yeah, exactly.
That's his job.
Exactly. Can I do a full circle thing? We were talking about how when you ask a man to do something they don't want to do, like the Obama thing, when you tell a man, like, vote for this person. So when you tell James to take out the trash, he probably won't do it, right? But if you let it alone, he'll do it. Like my husband's like, when I would be like, did you take the trash out? They would like on purpose not take it out.
No, see that I never question. See, that's the thing.
That's why he takes it out. That's why he takes it out.
Exactly. But see, that's the okay, Obama Jr. over there. Did you take the trash out? Because
I could have told you that. Yes, exactly.
No, let it go.
Yes,
let it happen.
Yes. That is the lesson I've learned in my 48 years. Like at 28, I didn't know that. At 48, I know that. Obama. Well, yeah. And I'm sure Michelle knows that too.
So yeah. You can't tell men what to do. Just, tell them, what, this would make me happy, or I would suggest something. But, when James and I started going out, and once we started living together, there were certain things that I do and there's certain things that he does, and we just decided that's what couples are supposed to do. You decide on things. And so his thing was, he makes sure that I have water, he makes sure that I have my vitamins. He's always pushing for vitamins or something. He'll put but he it's like chewable stuff, and I'm like, is he trying to kill me? What is happening? And he leave a little note and take 2 a day. And I'm like, okay.
He loves you.
Anyway, the last thing about the whole Elon thing was that there was this big scientific, because I'm an engineer. It was a scientific feat that happened. And they, Elon Musk's company, Starlinks, actually did a rocket launch. And the rocket launch came back
I
where
saw
the
that.
booster, and it's called a chopstick method, and the two
Hmm.
arms caught the booster, and I'm like, wow,
That was
that
crazy.
that was crazy, because what he's trying to do is speed up the process to get to Mars, and he's also trying to do a commercial like travel program for people to be able to go into space. But it's also a problem with the environment. And I was wondering, why does he support Trump so much? Well, he's supporting Trump because I believe that he is dealing with a lot of environmental issues, and he has to deal with the FAA for a
Sure.
lot of things, because you just can't just take a rocket and launch it. You got to get approvals, all
Of
that kind of stuff.
course.
And so if he's with the Republicans and with Trump, they'll just, let him do a free for all. But even when he did the rocket launches, the top part of the rocket landed in the Indian Ocean, and it's like that's pollution.
Of
The
course.
the climate change people was going crazy. It was, oh my God, what's happening?
I would ask you, I mean, just because you are, an engineer. I call you Hidden Figures. So Hidden Figures. What's the benefit of going to space? Do you think there is still a benefit given all the factors that you brought up? Climate change, using all the resources. I mean, is there a benefit? Because I think there was, when we were in the 60s, to explore and to see that we could push the envelope scientifically, I think is important, right? I mean, there was a space race, and we're trying to see like all the things we could develop that could get us to space. And so I think that's what Elon's doing, and continuing to show, how we as humans can innovate, right? So I think that's exciting. But what's the end game?
The end game is power. It's ultimately power. They want to be able to make money. They want to be able to, just like you get on a plane, go to Paris. Oh, you can get on a plane, go to the moon, you go to
Right.
Mars. They want to see if there is life out there, which I believe that there is life and living, beings. And this is what scientists do. We all, they wonder and they do experiments, but we need to do it safely. And even like they say, when they were shooting off the rocket, there was a sonic boom, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody's house in that area was like shaking, like, oh God. And then when it came back down, it was like again. So it's like that's going to have an effect on the environment. But to answer your question, I believe it's about power, it's about making money. And there's a little bit of what is out there, because we don't know what's out there. So everybody knows.
The follow-up is, would you go to the moon if you had the chance? Would you
Oh,
go on one of the
definitely.
rockets?
I
Would you
would.
really?
Oh yeah, I get on there in a minute. So
Look at you. You are
it
nosy.
might happen. So I'm working on it. I'm doing a grant to try to see if I can be an
What?
astronaut.
Lonnie Love, that would be amazing.
I would
How
love that.
cool. What if I went with you and I was next to
No,
you on the
that's
flight?
not happening.
What if I was like, Lonnie?
That's not happening.
I got
We're
a
gonna
ticket
move
right.
on from science. We're gonna get into fashion, because
I got the ticket right next to you.
something you can handle. Fashion, okay?
Okay, all
We want to
right.
give a shout out to Kate Moss and Tyra Banks. Kate Moss made her Victoria's Secret's debut in New York. She is 50 years old, and she did this jaw-dropping lace look and wings as I Love Rock and Roll was being played, and she just looked wonderful. I couldn't believe that this was her first time,
I'm shocked
doing.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she's everybody that knows Kate Moss, she was very influential in the 90s, and she has never graced the Victoria's Secret's runway. This is why I tell you, old bitches, it's always something that you could do that's different. I'm going to the moon. Kate is on at the Victoria's Secret's runway. It's great. And Tyra Banks made her return to the runway. It's been about 20 years since she was on the runway. She came in all her black and was swinging her hips and doing her thing. I was like, oh, Tyra. So, women are making their moves.
What I love about this, and I went to high school with Tyra, so that's
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, we went to the same high school, but we were there at different times.
Oh, you was like 10 years.
How dare you? But what I will say, what I love about this, besides the fact that they're both in their 50s, or I think Tyra's 50, right? She's about there.
Yeah, she's up there.
Back in the day when when they were young models. I think that the Kate Mosses, or she was like a waif, they called it, right?
Yeah.
And so she put the Tyras out of business, or Tyras, it was a very different body type. You could only be one type at the time. Now look at them sharing the runway together.
I love that. And something else that's, we just need things to make us feel good.
Yes.
Well, this week, the Metropolitan Museum of Arts announced that the Met Gala they have their theme. Their theme is going to be called Superfine, Tailoring Black Style, and it's based off of this book by this lady named Monica L. Milner, and the book was titled Slaves to Fashion, and it's like about Black dandyism and styling of the Black diaspora and things like that. And so it's exploring the style of Black men in the context of from the 18th century to the present day. So the co-chairs have been announced. My man Coleman Domingo,
Oh my God.
Like dapper for this. Lewis Hamilton, the race car driver, ASAP Rocky, thank you Rihanna, we know why. Pharrell Williams and Anna Wintour. So they're all going to co-chair. Along with the honorary co-chair LeBron James. So
Okay.
my only fear.
Girl, I'm right here with you. Go
Okay,
on.
what you go first?
No, you go.
No, you go. You go. Tell me what your fear is.
I just like, oh boy, we have to walk a fine line. I don't want Anna Wintour showing up in some kind of slave outfit. I mean,
but they said it's
I
slave
know.
times.
I know. I'm concerned. I have my concerns. Like, what are people going to be wearing? Like, we talk about appropriation. I mean, appropriation city. What are we doing?
Well, there is a dress code, but the dress code has not been announced yet. So they're going to announce the dress code.
If I see a bunch of Kardashians in freaking cornrows, I'm about to throw this table over.
Oh my God.
I mean, if Anna Wintour comes out in an afro, I'm like, what? No, we can't be doing this, right? I mean, this is a slippery slope. This is a dangerous territory.
We're going to stay tuned to this one because
yeah, we are.
I don't have a good feeling.
What is your thought? You put me out there. What are you thinking?
I'm like, when I first saw it, I'm like, I'm happy for Coleman because he is so great. But then when I heard from slave to now, I'm like, oh,
oh Lord,
my goodness, like please don't do this. Please, somebody gonna come in blackface. It's like,
of course, you know that's happening. I mean.
Well, this is why it's important to have the dress code and people adhere to the dress code.
What's the code? I mean, they published it? What's the code?
It'll be early next year. This is why they're being smart. They're announcing it now, and they're getting all this feedback. So if they listen to me, like, look, I don't want no Kuta Kente outfits.
No, I don't want any cornrow. Listen, you remember how they did Karl Lagerfeld a couple of years ago, and everybody came as his cat? I'm like, people they do the most. No afros, no cornrows for white people.
To my white friends, don't be afraid to ask somebody before you show up.
Please.
Just if you want to DM me and show me what you're thinking about,
yes,
let me know. I want to talk about one thing because I've been on my Peloton. I got the Zep bound. That's not helping.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I'm still hungry. I'm still hungry.
Wait, but what? Maybe you need to up the dosage.
It's only been a week. This is my second week.
But you look great. You look really good. You people don't realize like how much weight you've lost. You look amazing.
I'm on a mission. So I finally got the Zep bound, and I'm like, okay, I don't feel anything. But anyway,
maybe it's almost vitamins that James is giving you. Maybe they don't go together.
It's sabotage. But I was on my Peloton because I'm starting to do that. Like, I try to do it every day. It's been every other day. But what they have this great thing on Peloton where you can look at shows. I was like checking out this show, Kristen Bell and Adam Brody called Nobody Wants This. And it's such a cute rom-com. I love Kristen Bell because she came on The Real, and every time I see her, she's just really, really nice. Erin Foster, who is David Foster, the Music Man's daughter, created this sitcom for Netflix. And it's just a cute, like if you're looking for, because I think that's what we're kind of missing right now is
Yeah.
like a really cute rom-com series. And, it's already been renewed for season 2. But it's such a cute thing that I was instantly like, I stayed on that Peloton 10 extra minutes because I
Aw.
wanted to finish it. So check it out. It's called Nobody Wants This. And it's really, 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 really cute.
Well, I think the rom-coms are back for sure. There's a couple of them that are, kind of taking over. Even in the movie theaters, I think there's a couple that people are going to see that. I think people, like you said, want romance. And Lonnie Love, clearly you're romantic. That's why you're getting on that Peloton, watching these people fall in love.
I'm trying to lose this weight. Anyway.
And you're romantic.
Thank you, Erica. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to jump into today's topic with my girl, Marsha Warfield. This is Grown Ass Women talking.
Are we talking? What are we doing? What are we doing here, Lonnie Love?